Okay, gang, it is time for your final project. And for this final project, basically, you're going to demonstrate everything that you've learned this semester in all the dolls and in EarSketch. There is a lot to do, but you can do this, but you have no time to waste. So, we're going to start off by going to Google Classroom, and I have this Google Doc, and in the Google Doc, it lays out everything that you need to do for this project. So what is your final project going to be? Well, you're going to create a song in EarSketch using all the tools and the DAWs that we've learned in class this semester. The song's going to be at least 60 bars long using the standard verse, chorus, break, chorus, chorus form. The song's going to have at least 4 tracks, one for the melody, one for the harmony, one for the bass, one for the drums. And you're going to use at least one loop that you imported into EarSketch from either Soundtrap or Logic, and one audio file that you uploaded from Freesound. And you're going to have to make sure that you use all of the elements listed below in your script to create the final project. Below, I've created a checklist of the things that you need to do to get this project done. And I would go in the order that I have it listed here. Now, we'll come back to that. So if you go back to the assignment and you click on the link, this will take you to EarSketch. And this is the template that you're going to use to create your final project. And I've added a bunch of notes in here that hopefully will kind of help you follow along with the checklist that I created to go along with this. Okay, so at the top I have conditionals block goes here, but this is going to go last. So if you look at the checklist, we're going to start by creating a drum track using the make beats and the for loops that we did earlier in this semester. Now, you could do this from scratch, or one of the things you could do is if you go back and find that assignment we did earlier in the year, if you remember, when we do a make beat, we create variables for each sound, the kick, the snare, the hi-hat, and then we create variables for the beat strings. First, we learned how to do just the make beats that generates that 1 bar of drums. But for the song, we want to make it last for 8 bars. So to do that, we are going to use the loop. And if you remember how we did the loop before, we used this 4 measure in range, parentheses 1 comma 9, colon. And remember, after a colon, you always have to indent the lines that follow. And then for our make beat, instead of putting a bar number, we just put measure, because measure is going to be the variable that it's going to plug in as it counts down through this loop. So if you're happy with what you did earlier in the semester and you actually did the assignment, to complete this part, all you really need to do is highlight all of this, Command C to copy it, and then you can go back into the project, Command V, and you've got that done. Check, 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 check. The next thing says create the verse section. You need a melody track, a harmony track, a bass track, and we're going to use the make beat block for the drums. Actually, I pasted this in the wrong place, and then I'll put the actual loop down here. Okay, so now we're going to do the custom function in the verse. So again, if you think about it, you could go back to the assignment we did earlier in the semester and use it as kind of a reference to how we're going to do this. I would like for you to create something using some different loops and try to create something that you like the way it sounds. But we're going to do a custom function. So we're going to start with DEF verse parentheses start end and then a colon at the end. And that's going to set up our custom function. We're going to use that later. Now below that, you're going to create the verse. So most of this is probably going to be done with Fit Media. And you're going to go in your sound library. If you want to do artists, you can filter by artist, or you can filter by genre. But for the first track that I want it to be the melody, I'm going to choose a vocal. And if I'm down here, I'm going to plug in my track, or my loop, and I'm going to give it a track number. and then I'm going to put the variable start end instead of bar numbers. Then I need a harmony track. So I'm going to do another fit media. And so maybe now, instead of a vocal, let's do strings. Put that on track 2, start, end. Then I need a bass track. So I want to find one of these bass tracks. Track 3, start, end. Okay, now the next part is you have to kind of think about this a little bit. But I want to tab this, and what I'm not going to do is I'm actually going to copy this loop that I created, Command C, and I'm going to paste it here. Now, one of the things that's important, because there's a colon at the end of this loop, I have to tab these lines below it again. And since I pasted that down there, I'm going to hashtag it up here because I don't want it to try to run up here. I want it to run down here. So that gives me my complete verse section. Now, to do the chorus, it's the same process. So we're going to call this the chorus, start, end. We're going to tell it later, colon. Now, for this one, this might be a good place to use a loop that you have imported. And if you remember, if you go to artists, if you've imported anything, you should find your student ID number, and it'll give you a list of everything that you've imported. Now, you could go into Logic, or you can go into Soundtrap, and if you find a drum loop there that you like, you can export that as an audio file, if you remember when we did that earlier. And then once you have the audio file exported that you want, you go to Add Sound, Wave, and you should, if you save that audio file to your desktop, you find an audio file that you want to use, and you upload that. Don't forget to enter the tempo that loop that you exported from, and then upload. But hopefully you get the idea. So for the chorus, again, you're going to go through the same process to do a fit media for the melody. And if I keep the same artist that I had before, and this time I'm maybe just going to try a different, I used a verse before, so maybe this time I'll use a pre-chorus. And I still put this on track 1. I put in the variables, start, end, just like you did for the verse. So you do your fit media for the harmony. You'll do a fit media. I keep typing that U for the bass. And then you'll do a fit media for the drums, and maybe, like I said before, here's a good place you could use that that uploaded audio file that you uploaded from Soundtrap or Logic Pro. So once you get that done, you're going to do a custom function for the break. Same format. Now for the break, you just want to make something different than what you use for the verse or the chorus. Or you could do something like maybe just drop out everything except maybe the drums. So maybe the break, I'm just going to use, say, the drum loop that I imported. So I could put that down there, and that could just be the break. I just drop everything out but the drums. But then you also want to do an intro, and this would be a good place to use one of those sounds that you uploaded from Free Sounds. So you go to Free Sound, you can try effects like build up, or sometimes there, or it could be anything, any kind of sound that you want to use that's an attention getter, and you upload that. And to find those uploads from Freesound, you actually go to genres. I'm going to clear my filters. Genres, and look for the button that says Freesound. And that's going to give you all of the things that you uploaded for Freesound. So for that, again, you're going to do fit media. You could put a Freesound track there. Give it a track number, start, end. You can use a different Freesound, or you could drop maybe like a drum track or something in there. Put it on, say, track. Let's go 5. And there you have your intro. Now, once you have all those sections created, then you just have to come down here and use those variables for the custom functions and put in the bar numbers that you want it to play. So, for example, if you want your intro to go bars 1 to 5, and after that you want the verse to come in, it's going to go 5 to 13. And then you go do your chorus. It's going to start at 13 plus 8. 13 plus 8 is 21. Then you bring your verse back for 21 plus 8 is 29. And so on and so forth. So you do bring your chorus back again. Don't forget to put your break in. And then you do your chorus 2 times at the end. That should not be indented. Okay. Now, oh yeah, maybe don't call the break the break. How about we call that a bridge? Because it looks like Python wants to treat break as some sort of function. So bridge, maybe that works better. Okay, we're not quite done. Because the last thing you have to incorporate into this is a conditional, which we just learned how to do. The easiest way to incorporate a conditional into this would probably give the user the option of picking a tempo. There's certainly other things you could do, but doing tempo is going to create the least amount of work. So if you remember, to create the conditionals, we need to first create a variable equals, and we're going to use our read input, parentheses, and then a quotation mark. And my question could be something like, would you like to hear a song with a slow, medium, or fast tempo? Question mark. So that's my read input. And now when I set up my conditionals, if, parentheses, tempo equals. Remember that 2 equal signs is really important. Quotation mark, slow. And then I'm going to add my colon. So if they select slow, I'm going to do set tempo, parentheses, and I'm going to put a slow number in there, 80. So now I need to create an elif statement. So if their input for tempo equals medium, colon, then I'm going to do a set tempo at, say, 110. And if they don't answer slow and they don't answer medium, we're going to assume that they answered fast. So I just have to put else in a colon. And I'm going to put set tempo at 140. And that should do it. Now, once I have all that done, and I haven't filled in, I'm missing a lot of the stuff, so I can't run this as it stands here. But once you think you have it done, the last thing you have to do is actually run the script and look for bugs and fix any bugs that you find when you try to run the script. Also with the conditionals, if you have 3 different options for user input, you need to make sure that you run it and try all 3 options, because it may be that 2 of the options work, but you have a bug in the 3rd one. So you want to make sure that you try all of the different options you give your user for the input to get all of that to work. Once you have that done, you're finished. And hopefully you remember, once you get something done, to turn it in, you're going to go to share. You're going to click current version. You're going to click on the clipboard to copy it. Then you're going to go back to the assignment, find the Google form, put your name, your class period, paste the link, and submit. And again, it's a lot. You do not have any time to waste, but hopefully this checklist will help. And then I'm also available. So if you get stuck somewhere or you don't understand what to do, raise your hand and let me know, and I'll be glad to help. Good luck.